This is the high-grade Tieren Space Type, an older kit from 2008, but in terms of grunt-type suits, one of my favorites that is a little bit underrated. So let's see if there's any reason why people aren't picking this thing up, or if you should go out and find one for yourselves. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and let's jump into it.
Okay, we've got another old kit today. Not as old as some of the other ones we've built, but one that I'm looking forward to, that being the Tieren Space Type. If you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of 00, and especially the kind of different designs of some of the different factions in 00. Like, I really love the Tieren, I really love the flag. I just love the different type of looks that we get other than your standard typical mobile suits in 00. Part of the reason why I love it so much. And I'm really looking forward to this guy because out of a lot of the base grunt suits across all of Gundam, the Tieren is one of my favorites just because, again, it's so different, it's so big, so chunky. So let's take a look at what we're gonna get here. I got this guy for 20 bucks at this model shop down in Oklahoma City. Super cool. Definitely check it out if you get the chance. Really cool people there. A lot of great stuff, really great tips. On the box here, obviously we're gonna be taking a look at some of the different action and availability that this thing can do. Looks like we're gonna get some really sick movement down here at the knee. It says we get a lot of movement up here at this like thruster that I'm super excited for, and even the leg pieces here, it looks like it's really saying that there's a lot of articulation there. And then on the other side, of course, we're just getting a look at some of the painted model. Nothing too crazy there, but let's see what we're gonna get out of this guy, shall we? Here is a look at that manual that we're gonna be getting. I love these kind of like, I don't know if these are like CG renders or what on some of these older kits, but it always looks super cool, super awesome. It's a pretty big size manual, I will say, for a high grade. We're gonna get a lot more of the action poses and whatnot on the painting guide here. Some of the availability, looks like we have like some bits or something flying off there as well. Super sick. There's a lot more color on here than I was gonna imagine, that's for sure. And here are the instructions. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, that's how you can tell it's an older kid. Look at the color of this plastic here. This is some older plastic for sure. In the box, there's just a few runners, nothing too crazy with them. There's just gonna be your standard black, and the one thing that is interesting is this blue on here, I think is a little darker than the actual kit itself. The kit itself almost looks more purple, so I don't think this is color accurate, but it does, this blue does really remind me of the police type Zaku that's obviously out with the G-Quack series. So a really interesting color. The only other interesting really bit here is this guy here. We're gonna be getting a wire. I'm assuming this is for that thing I called a bit just a minute ago. It looks like it's just going to be a wire attached something or other. Stickers is nothing crazy. I really expected, you know, for an older high grade kit to have a lot more than this. It does look like there's quite a few. Obviously there's going to be the mono eye, but I really hope that these aren't too bad. It doesn't look like there's a whole bunch, so that's fingers crossed that these aren't in super crazy places.
The chest unit on this thing is unlike any other high grade I feel like I've ever built because the design of this mobile suit is just so tanky. For one, the head unit and the chest unit are all one piece pretty much. Obviously there's little pieces that go into it, but you can't move this head and it's just on the torso, no movement at all. However, there is still movement at the mono eye. It has the same gimmick as just about every other mono eye in the entire Gundam Gunpla lineup, where you can just rotate the little thing side to side like so, and you can move the mono eye whichever way you want. This one's a little more primitive than some of the other ones I've done, but still gets the job done. Around back, there are these really interesting thrusters and this really unique lineup. The backpack itself is not too impressive, but these bell thrusters, I think is what they're called, have a lot of range of movement, an entire 360-ish almost on all three of them. Pretty nice. They are pretty basic in terms of looks, not a lot of details on the inside or the outside, but not much more to be expected from a kit from 2008. Another thing that wasn't expected is the way that the chest connects to the arms. It's this really interesting mechanic where it kind of just moves the entire arm and shoulder unit side to side, kind of like this. I don't know, it doesn't really help or hinder the movement, just an interesting way to go about it. But don't let your hopes get the best of you. This is still a kit from 2008. There's seam lines running across the entire thing, and there is a heavy reliance on stickers up on the torso and the head, which are quite annoying. As you see, I already lost one up on the top of the head there. The arms of this kit feel very, very early 2000s, or I guess mid 2000s. You know, it doesn't do anything crazy, but it's not as bad as some of the early high grades, or you know, like early 2000s high grades. Get the job done. They have a decent range of movement. You're going to get a 90-degree at the arm and like a full 360 up at the shoulder. Nothing too crazy, but again, for just a high grade, can't really ask for too much more. It is nice though that there is a little bit of extra detail here and there, like the wrist has this kind of protector on the back, which is pretty nice. Doesn't have a whole lot of movement, but still cool to have there. Of course, we have more thrusters up on the shoulders, and we actually get a open spread hand just for the right hand, but still awesome. There are high grades today that don't have extra hands. And of course, there are seam lines heavy on the arms as well. There's a lot of sandwiching on this kit, so you're going to see a lot of seam lines all over this, especially whenever we head down to the legs. In my opinion, the legs are really where this kit shines. For one, they are just so different compared to any other kit I've ever built, whether that's high grade, master grade, 00, anything. I mean, just look at these. These thrusters at the front of the knee give it a really unique silhouette that's super unique to just it. But something else that's unique to just it, well, I guess kind of, are these little thrusters down at the ankle. They are always falling off. They've fallen off so many times just while I am doing this video. I mean, look, you just pop them in like so. They fall out super easy, so be careful with those. Maybe tighten them up with a little bit of strengthening stuff, paint, I don't know, just be careful with them. But speaking of the feet, it takes some really interesting liberties on what it decides to give you and what it doesn't give you. We've got a little extra detail on the bottom of the foot, not a whole lot on the top of the foot. We've got a little bit of movement side to side, but not a whole lot of movement anywhere else. And that strangeness kind of continues at the rest of the leg too. The knee has a really nice joint that goes all the way back, but as you can see, it gets hindered by the thruster on the back of the ankle. I don't know why you'd want to bend it all the way back, but you could if this thruster wasn't in the way. Same thing with moving the leg forward. It actually has quite a bit of kick to it, but the thrusters, the big thruster canisters, get in the way by blocking into the shoulder and the arm. So you get some really cool kicks, but again, really weird on what they decide to limit and what they decide to not, I suppose. I mentioned more seam lines down at the legs, and look at these bad boys. They are atrocious. They run smack dab the middle. At least they're kind of hidden by the thrusters, but those also have some nasty seam lines running throughout the whole thing. So if you're going to take a lot of care in this kit, I would definitely recommend sealing up those seam lines, because there's also some bad ones on the back. It's an older kit, and this is kind of where you can actually tell it. The kit itself actually comes with quite an arsenal, so here's everything you're going to get in the box. That first being the smooth bore gun, which is pretty cool. Some sort of single-handed blade. It doesn't have a name in the manual, but pretty sick. You're going to get this ammo pack that connects up on the shoulders. You're going to get some missiles to connect on the wrist, and you're going to get this sort of launcher. I don't know exactly the name for it. It doesn't have one in the manual, but it's pretty sick. So that bore gun doesn't actually connect to any arm or anything like a standard machine gun. It actually just attaches to the wrist like the missiles do. It's pretty sick. It looks pretty awesome. The one thing that's not awesome, again, is the over-reliance on stickers. You see those white bits on the drum? Those are stickers, and they are a pain. As you can see, they're already wanting to fall off. The rest of the gun is all in one color, but there is some nice different pieces that make it just a bit different than your standard beam rifle. There is a pretty nasty seam line running through the main bit of it. Again, you're gonna have to seam line those up if you want to make this kit look really good. You're also going to want to do some painting if you want to make this thing look good, because these missiles on the arms are all one color, which again, I'm not asking for a whole lot from a 2008 kit. Just a little disappointing, I guess, but they look okay. They would look a lot better with a coat of paint, and they just connect on the wrist, don't do too much. Same thing for, I think this is like an ammo pack, I believe. Just kind of connects down here at the bottom of the shoulder unit. The only weapon that does actually go in a hand is that single blade, and it just connects in sandwich style like any other high grade weapon. Looks pretty sick. Again, some color would go a long way on this guy. And I will say that this wire mounted unit is actually pretty darn sick. So it just connects in the same way as the ammo pack does on the other side, but then it's got this kind of flap up here that you just flip open and then you attach the wire in. Pretty simple, honestly, and I'm very surprised at how sturdy this wire is. I was expecting, you know, for the age and everything to not hold up very well, but it, as you can see, it does the job well. So kudos to this, and this is probably the coolest part of this entire kit. Other than the use of stickers, this is definitely the category that this kit, it kind of struggles in just a little bit. I will say if you want to get it up on a stand, pretty simple. It just has the 3mm peg on the bottom like almost every other high grade, simple stuff there. But for a kit labeled space type, I will say I don't think this boy belongs anywhere other than on the ground. I mean, he's just very chunky, man. It's hard to get any cool angles with him, and because the kit is so old and all monotone, just something it doesn't quite hit. I like the Tieren a lot, but I don't know, just he just doesn't quite look right, I guess, if that makes sense. You can get some decently cool poses because the articulation on it is pretty good, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Does this design hold up? Let me know down in the comments below. The Tieren is a decently sized grunt suit, so I figured which better way to start at this size comp than by having him up against some of my other grunts. So here he is against the real grade Zaku 2, the high grade Leo, don't ask why he looks like that, my UC RX-78-2 Custom, the high grade Strike Rouge that came out only a year before this Tieren did. I'm completely blanking on the name of this 00 suit, so if you know, let me know down in the comments below. And here's the high grade Barbatos Lupus. That's it for the size comp. Overall, I'm quite torn on this kit because for one, it's got a unique design unlike pretty much any other gunpla I've ever built. But that being said, it still has its quirks. For one, it's got some interesting choices for articulation, a lot of movement in some places, not a whole lot in other places. It has a bit of an over-reliance on stickers on the chest, up at the head. Again, like I said, I've already lost one of them and they don't look too great anyways. And then it has some unique gimmicks, like the moving chest shoulder unit. I don't know, it's cool, and it's not like anything else. So, I don't know, I think overall, I might have to give this kit like a C tier. I think it doesn't do anything too crazy, but it does some stuff that I'm not a big fan of. So I think right in the middle, that's a great spot for it. I still enjoyed building this kit, and I think I might want to put some extra work into it. Do you have this one? Let me know down in the comments what you think of it, or if I should put the work into this one or not. Either way, I appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you being here. See you guys in the next one. Peace out. Sandwich style, I guess.